party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week, I am joined once again by friend of the show Cole Burkhardt for a game of Monster of the Week. Monster of the Week is a Powered by the Apocalypse game about busting ghosts. And vampires, and zombies, werewolves, aliens, monsters of all kinds. It is designed to emulate shows like Supernatural, books like The Dresden Files. It's very cool. I like it a lot, and I'm really excited for you to hear the episode. And of course, you know Cole from their amazing work on Blue Dawncast and the Unplaced podcast, and the upcoming Lavender Ladies podcast, and more, links to all of which can be found in the show notes. With all that out of the way, let's throw it over to me in the past so he can get started with the show. Take it past me.
Thanks, future me. This week, I am joined once again by Cole Burkhardt. Cole, thank you so much for coming back on Party of One.
Thanks for having me.
So, at the top of the show, as we always like to do, why don't you take a moment and let the audience at home know any of the cool projects you're working on, anything you might want them to know about, that sort of thing?
Oh, goodness, I'm doing a lot right now. So, you can hear my child podcast called Blue Dawn. It's an actual play podcast. Right now, our season is kind of horror-based, a very fun circus adventure that I just it's so good, but also I'm a big wimp sometimes. You can
I feel that a lot.
You can also hear me on another podcast that I do called Unplaced, which is yet another horror podcast about a woman who wakes up one day and is completely invisible. It's very interesting. And if this comes out when I think it's going to come out, you can also hear me on another podcast called Lavender Ladies, which is about, well, the gay mafia.
I dig that. You've sold me. That was quick. Excellent. So this week we are playing Monster of the Week. I am super excited about it. It is Powered by the Apocalypse. Monster of the Week. It's actually, the title is pretty much on the money. So yeah, it is your supernaturals, your fringes, your Buffy's the Vampire Slayer. So why don't you take a moment and introduce us to your monster hunter this week?
Perfect. Well, my monster hunter is named Alicia West. She is from the Crooked Playbook. She used to be part of this monster hunting organization and then broke away because she realized she could get shit done better without them. She's kind of like a late 30s kind of executive type. She wears a lot of suits, but carries a lot of big guns, and knows her way around killing monsters.
So, let me ask you, you separated from the Torchbearers on not the best terms.
No.
What was the job that caused you to split, and how is it not your fault?
Okay, so one of the things that I believe, at least I have a problem with the Torchbearers, is that they are very set in their ways. They think that there's no working with some of the less dangerous monsters to hunt things. I was chasing down this super bad demon and enlisted the help of a couple fairy creatures, and they did not appreciate that.
Yeah, they are very humanocentric.
Yes.
Right? Like they basically anything that's not us, it's us versus them.
Exactly.
And you sided with them and you got the boot. But like at the same time, you also got the job done, right?
Yeah, I got it done. The demon's been taken care of. Just I also happened to leave a couple fairies alive at the end of it.
Yeah, so they were not happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what brings you to Nightcrest University? It is this small tech school out in kind of ritzy. It's real ritzy, right? Mm-hmm, it's one of these like big fancy, it is the science and technology capital of tomorrow, right? They're cultivating the next generation of scientific minds.
Fancy. I am hold on. I want to look up a monster name real quick. I'm following the lead of a kind of like Wendigo type monster, except without the, maybe not necessarily from Native American culture, but one of those like long, dangerous man-eating creatures that like hunts during the night. Not a vampire per se; it's without the blood sucking. But I'm following a lead.
Yeah.
And it there have been some sightings around Nightcrest.
This actually works out perfect. Yes, this is good because this actually ties in perfectly with all of the stuff that I've got written. Yeah.
Oh, good.
You have rolled up Nightcrest. You have kind of picked. You've been coy enough to kind of pick up on a few of these things because you've noticed that a lot of them have been kind of scrubbed from sort of the area newspapers, right? Like the university has clearly kept a lot of this in-house, but a number of grad students in recent months have up and disappeared, right? Like there have been GoFundMes from families being like, help me find my son. And sort of, you've seen some reports on Twitter of hey, like this person said they were going to come home and they never did. People have disappeared, right? And the university has been very, and like you've seen it, there's at least one instance where Tyler Applewood, all-American, big barrel-chested blonde boy, disappears, and there's a GoFundMe to like find him. And it goes up and then goes down, fully funded within a few hours. And like it's clear that the university is keeping this very hush-hush. But people have gone missing. And to somebody in your line of work, especially operating independently, that's kind of a red flag.
Oh, absolutely. Like, there's no way that this many students can go missing and have it be a normal circumstance.
Yeah. So, how long are you at Nightcrest before you hear about the case of Armana Nolan? How long are you before the Armana Nolan case before you get the breaking news about Armana Nolan?
Probably not that long. It's probably only I'm on campus for maybe a couple of days, and then it hits me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're on campus. Actually, you are hanging around the only place where you can get a solid handle on what's happening around campus, because otherwise it's all, there's campus security kind of like watching you, but the one place, even though you don't really fit in, the one place where you can actually get an eye and an ear for the campus is the student union in this large, ugly food court.
It's probably got like shitty Indian food. Like it's not even good. There's like a Red Hot and Blue, which is a restaurant in the north, and like whatever. A Red Hot and Blue, which is a barbecue place. Probably even like there's probably a Starbucks.
There is not a Starbucks, but there is a Cup of Joe.
Oh yeah.
And there's a Taco Time.
Yes.
And yeah, there's a Taco Time, and then there's a Del Taco, and there's the one thing you've really been able to pick up on is that there's serious debate over whether you go to the Taco Time or the Del Taco. But the Armana Nolan, what happens is it's about 12:30. Lunch rush is in full swing when, out of nowhere, seemingly out of a back staircase or something, just, suddenly there's a ruckus, and this young grad student in scrubs, this young grad student in scrubs bursts into the crowd swinging plastic silverware. And you see that she is bloodied, and her scrubs are kind of torn up in places, and she's screaming, and there's just a lot of blood dripping from the back of her head. Like, you see, like, her shoulders and, like, her back starting to get drenched. She's swinging, she's screaming about, like, get it out of my head, and then she's on the ground. Then she's gone.
What is security doing?
Security immediately starts, like, they start trying to, like, get close to her, but she's swinging, like, plastic knives, but with the force that you're pretty sure she could still, like, bury it in someone's skull. And then they're also, like, doing heavy crowd control. Like, no one's allowed near her. They're kind of, like, full Nelson grabbing people and dragging them off to, like, get them away from the scene.
Okay. Could I... Let's see, what do I want to do? Could I try and, like, get behind her and, like, come up and disarm her?
You can, yes. It's going to take a little bit of, like, getting around security to get up to her, and then you're going to have to grab her.
I'm willing to roll for it.
All right. And I'm going to call this act under pressure, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to call this act under pressure to get around security and get up behind her. It's just going to be one act under pressure.
Okay, so that's a plus pool. Come on, dice. Please? Please? There we go. I have, like, 3 bags of dice, and so getting them all out is tough. Okay, so... My tool is a +1, so 4, 7, I got an 8.
Okay. You're going to have... You can pick one. You can sneak past security and get up behind her. Or you can sneak up security, but she's going to notice you and engage you directly. Or you can get up to her and disarm her, but then security is going to be on you.
I don't care about security at the moment. I'm going to disarm her.
Okay, so you get up behind her. You're quick, and you grab the silverware. She kind of, like, turns around and kind of shoves you a little bit, but she's clearly weak, and she's clearly, like, faltering before security, and they grab you with the same, like, real shitty campus security full Nelson that they were grabbing other kids with.
I have a quick question. Is her blood on the silverware?
A little bit of it, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna slip it into my bag.
Okay.
And then, I guess I'm gonna let security pull me away.
Alright, yeah, they pull you away, and this, like, 19-year-old is feeling very tough about it, right? It's like, get back! Do you even go here? Get out of here! And they kind of, like, pull you away. They kind of shove you out of the door of the student union, but you've got this piece of silverware, and I'm gonna say make an investigate mystery roll for what if you noticed anything when you were kind of, like, close.
Okay, that's a sharp.
Plus sharp.
So 3, 6. That's 9 out of 10.
All right. Ask me 2 of the questions from the investigate a mystery list.
What is being concealed here?
The thing that you notice is you came up behind her, right? You saw the wound, and it was a gnarly looking wound. But the thing right before you got pulled away, right before you grabbed the silverware, you swore you saw what can only really be described as, like, almost a leech bite, but way bigger. Right at the base of her skull. And it didn't look like it got, like, all the way... It didn't look like it goes deep, like it was a shallow wound. But it looks like if it had gotten deeper, there would have been a major problem.
Okay. I want to ask where did it go, but I feel like I can't, like, discover that from just the scene. Or unless I did, I'm gonna ask where did it go, but I'm gonna use like sort of a reverse engineer of like following the bloody footprints to try and.
Yeah. Okay. You kind of like, as they're carrying you out, you get a chance to kind of watch the footprints, and you see that she came up through what basically looked almost like a utility closet door.
Huh.
But you have seen on social media, you've heard some kids in the union talking, and there are tunnels, like utility tunnels underneath the school that connect some of the buildings. So it's possible that this closet was actually one of these like tunnel staircases.
Okay. Chances are I can't get back in the building right now.
Probably not, especially because security is kind of like standing outside and basically like telling people to disperse.
Okay. I'm gonna back away for now, but actually, I wonder if I can find the archives and find a map.
You can find the archives. There is a campus library. It is under renovation, so like half of it is all boarded up and closed off, but it's there, so you could definitely consult it.
Sounds like my college experience. It
was my entire college experience.
Good old George Mason, where everything they do is construction. Since I can't get into the uni right now, I'm gonna go to the library.
Okay, cool. So like I said, the library is about half shut down, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff is tarped off, and some of the books are shipped off to other buildings, but you can definitely, you can spend some time in the library. There are like books on campus history and stuff, so you could definitely make an investigate mystery off of that.
Okay. That's a 4.
Okay, great. Good, great, excellent. On a miss, you reveal some information to the monster or whomever you are talking to. So Chaz, who is the assistant librarian for this shift, is very confused. Like, Chaz sees you come in and assumes you are faculty immediately. And is immediately like, oh, hey, I was working. And he's clearly like, his eyes are open a little bit too wide. And he's like, cool. Is there anything you need? What are you looking for? Some stuff is off campus. They said to say that if faculty came in, but, I can probably help you if you need anything in particular.
Yes. Chaz, was it?
Yeah, Chaz. And he pulls out his lanyard and badge, which he has tucked into his t-shirt so nobody sees it and thinks that he's working. Despite the fact that he's sitting behind the desk. He pulls it out and like flips it. Yep, Chaz, that's my name. That's...
Listen, I'm looking for a map of the school. Something real old, you know? Maybe back when they had their original buildings?
Oh, yeah, actually, we actually, the maps are, because the new students were supposed to keep those, you can absolutely find the maps in the back. And he's kind of like points you towards where you see some maps are hanging up and they have shelves with some of them rolled up. So they're definitely available. But as you are walking over there, you notice that there are several, there is what looks like another professor, gray suit, black tie, salt and pepper hair, is reading a newspaper in a chair and visibly looks up at you and watches you go over.
I'm just gonna ignore him.
All right. He watches you for a moment and then gets up and kind of hurriedly walks out. as he sees you looking at maps. So you look through for a moment, and you do find some maps of the school. So go ahead and make me an investigate mystery.
Okay.
Make me another investigate mystery.
Okay. Oh, god damn it, that's a 6.
Alright. Yeah. Let me ask you some questions.
Okay.
You can't quite find... They don't have quite the maps that you're looking for. They don't have quite the oldest ones. The ones that they do have are recent enough. They're recent enough that they have the tunnels are kind of marked off as, like, official, so they're not included on the maps. But you've been to Nightcrest before.
Yes.
Why do you... When was that, and why were the tunnels important?
It was it was probably back when I was going to college, or like looking to go to college and was doing like a college visit. And the reason why, like, I think maybe there had been rumors of a person going missing in the tunnels, and like all of the not recruiters, but like the people who show you around campus were very like quick to shut that rumor down. Yeah.
And that's actually where you were, like, you went looking into one of these tunnels, right? And that is of course where you stumbled, you like found yourself among the torchbearers as they were like looking, like walking around. You saw them poking around, and that is kind of how you got swept up into that lifestyle.
Yes.
So, yeah. So you know about these tunnels. You don't necessarily know all of them, but, like, you've got enough to know that, like, there are miles of tunnels. Most of these buildings can be connected either directly or indirectly. So she definitely came from another building. You can surmise that she came from one of the science buildings because she was in scrubs and had, like, Crocs on.
Oh, God,
but in terms of, like, what building, it could, you know, there's miles of tunnel down there.
Okay. You know what? Let's go for an adventure. I'm gonna try and go back to see if I can remember where I, like, that first tunnel that I stumbled upon, and just start from there.
It's like once you start walking the campus, it's like the back of your hand. It's that kind of familiar where it's almost unnerving and a little bit off-putting, where you're like, oh yeah, I just have to turn up here. I haven't thought about that in 13 years. And you find yourself, it is a sewer grate in the middle of the quad that, like, every student at some point has walked over and not thought twice about. But, like, if you crowbar it up and you make sure no one's around, there's a ladder that drops you right in the middle of these tunnels.
Are there people around? What time is it?
You tell me. You tell me both.
I think it's definitely late at night. Maybe not like 1 or 2, but definitely closer to like 10 or 11 p.m.
Yeah, and there's probably a few people around,
like just leaving
going to parties.
Yeah, or like, oh wait, no, that's 10. I haven't been to college in like 2 years. Fuck if I remember when classes ended. But yeah, no, kids are like definitely going to parties and moving from dorm room to dorm room, and so so Alicia doesn't feel that she's being watched, so I think she's very like casual about just prying up this sewer grate and jumping in.
Yeah, I think you jump in and you see a few students as you like get ready to jump in look over to you, but it's late enough at night and they're drunk enough that like they probably won't actually remember
I do like a finger guns at them before I jump in.
They finger gun right back, and then it's as though you could have honestly disappeared and they would never notice. That was all it really took. So you're back in these tunnels, and not only is there this feeling of deja vu, like, you remember it like it was yesterday, but there are still chalk marks and tiny bits of tape from from previous torchbearer investigations. It's all real familiar.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out my baseball bat that I think I've got strapped into I think I had a kind of a big jacket on, and I had it strapped to my back underneath the jacket.
Love it.
And I pull it out just as a precaution, and then start walking.
Yeah, you're moving around. The only lights are these old kind of flickering utility lights, so everything has this sickly orange to it. And it flickers just enough to be unnerving even to a monster hunt, like an experienced monster hunter. But you can see there is shorthand on some of the the things that tell you kind of which buildings are which. And you make me an act under pressure.
Okay.
To get around in here, as this is a rough, it's a creepy scene.
All right. 2 of 4, which is 6 plus 1, so 7.
Okay, great. You, yeah, great. You are looking around and you see... Oh, I know what the worst situation is already.
Oh, good.
This is good.
Oh, good.
You're able to kind of piece together where it seems like you need to go, like you're looking at things, but the reason you're able to piece together where the action seems to be is because you see some fresh chalk markers and some fresh string hung up.
Oh, good.
They're definitely here.
Oh, good. Just what I wanted. More people in my way. All right. I'm gonna try and circumvent them if I can.
Okay.
I want to go in the same direction, but also want to be sure that I'm not gonna directly come up behind them or run into them. But also because I think if I didn't do so well on that roll, I'll leave it up to you whether or not that happens.
No, I think that you. I think the bad situation is the only way you're going to be able to reasonably get to Bradbury Hall, which is where all of the markers seem to indicate, is by basically going where they've already gone.
Good.
So you're basically going to end up right behind them no matter what.
Okay, that's fine.
On the upside, you got to head to Bradbury Hall because you can see that if that's where they're headed, they probably know at least as well as you do,
right,
what they're looking into.
All right, let's do this then.
You make your way along, and it's tape. It's just different enough from things are marked off with not police tape, but close enough that a student or janitor wouldn't notice. And pieces of conspiracy string on the walls. It's all very thorough, and it's all kind of annoyingly thorough, where it just feels stifling to you, right?
Everything's by the book, even down to the chalk marks.
Yep. You see the ladder. You see a stairwell that leads you up, that you can tell that is clearly marked as leading up to Bradbury Hall. It'll drop you off in essentially the lobby.
Okay. I have to put my baseball bat away, but I'm gonna put it away and then climb up the stairwell.
You get to the top of the stairs when echoing through the entire tunnels, you just hear, "Been a while, West. Still in the case?" And you see an all too familiar cigarette light from off in the shadows that illuminates your old boss, the person that trained you.
Those things will kill you.
Something's gonna kill me sooner or later. I may as well enjoy it while I can. I'm trying to think. Oh, I was trying to think of the best possible, like, obnoxiously.
Well,
his name.
You already used Chaz, so I don't know.
His name is Creep Carlisle. It's the most annoyingly like pulp horror hero name I could think of.
It's good.
His name is Creep Carlisle.
Great.
And he is 100% in the trench coat with the hat and the cigarette. And like, it's definitely it's modern day, so this all looks really try hard.
Yeah.
Is I think the vibe that he's giving off.
Oh, absolutely. I think she goes, so you seen a monster come by this way?
Something. Nothing in the tunnels, which, I mean, that was really our first guess. I feel like if you're a monster, this is where you're gonna hide out. I mean, look at this place.
Obviously.
But nothing here. Best we can surmise, whatever has been dragging people off, and he kind of looks up the stairs, must have come from in there.
Is anyone else here with you?
Just the usual containment crew, you know. Oh, Luke says hi. Him and the cleanup crew, you know, they still talk about you. They still talk about the ferry job.
Listen, I'd rather not get into that with you. I got better things to worry about.
Understood, but, and he kind of, like, pops the cigarette out of his mouth just to give you the most shit-eating grin. You know that area is off limits, right?
When has that ever stopped me?
Alright. And he kind of, he smiles, and he, like, he puts the cigarette back in his mouth. He gives you a tip of his cap, and right? I hate this guy. And he throws himself hard against the wall of the tunnel, and like the sound of it echoes out, and he kind of like stumbles back, and he just says, "You overpowered me. There's nothing I could do."
You know.
And he starts to walk off.
If you wanted to make it look like overpowered, you could just let me beat you up.
I feel like I'd enjoy the cigarette more.
All right, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go in.
Yeah, you. All right, you head in, and the weird thing is that no building should be this bustling at 11 o'clock at night. But there are grad students and scrubs and crocs, like, running from room to room.
Fucking med students don't know when to quit.
Right, and there are, you know, faculty looking at clipboards, walking along in lab coats. And there is one older guy, gray suit, black tie, salt and pepper hair, walking along with a few students, and he sees you. And he kind of, like, starts to fall behind the group as he kind of, like, starts shuffling people along a little bit.
I'm gonna, like, make it very obvious that I'm looking at him, and then walk past him and try and find an empty, like, if I can, at least an empty hallway or an empty classroom.
Yeah, you've definitely, it takes more work than you would think, especially at this time of night. But you do find an empty, like, one of the lecture halls is the only, like, empty room, and it's this big. Everything you do is kind of, like, echoing, and it's that kind of quiet where it feels like you're making too much noise no matter what you do.
I'm gonna go down and sit, like, on the teacher's desk or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, you sit and you kind of twirl in the teacher's desk for a moment when through the top door, like all the way up the stairs of the amphitheater, this guy with two of these burly campus security guards comes like storming in.
Mm-hmm.
And they start like moving towards you.
Evening, gentlemen.
Evening. Unfortunately, the building is closed the building is closed from 9:30 until 6:30. You'll have to come back in the morning if you want. And he kind of looks you over. A press interview or something.
But gentlemen, this is a place of learning. Are you really going to deny me an education, regardless of the time of day?
He kind of like, he's holding a clipboard and he puts his fingers to the bridge of his nose and he's like, this is, the work that we're doing is too important to be bothered by drunks or thrill seekers or press or whatever you're doing. Oh, you're a distraction and you need to leave. And he starts to walk out.
You insult me, sir. And I think I'm going to use the move Notorious. And I think what that looks like is she starts to like loosen her tie and pulls back the collar of her shirt, and you can see the brand of the torchbearers like burned into her neck. And is like, I'm just looking for a little information, sir.
Okay, yeah. So what happens is he kind of stops in his track and like starts shaking and bolts. He's gone. Oof. But the people that you are able to the people that will do what you ask are the two campus security guards who kind of stop and like they pause and look at each other for a moment and they're like, are they the ones that yeah they said that if we were supposed to cooperate and okay, we don't want any trouble.
Of course not.
You know, not here for any trouble.
Well, I'm not here for any trouble either. I just need some questions answered. So, okay, looking at you two, I can tell you probably won't be able to help me, but I feel as though that gentleman can. So why don't you take me to where he's...
We can go, yeah, no, that's fine. Come with us. We can, he has said that he won't answer questions. I'm so sorry about that, but, and one of them kind of like, yeah, but Mary is up there.
Don't
Mary. Mention Mary. Oh,
Mary sounds just wonderful. I would love to meet Mary.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. And the other one is like hitting him in the arm, like, dude, you can't just... Okay, yeah. And so they kind of like, the three of you march off and we cut to one of these labs, right? Mm-hmm. Think very, very college chemistry lab. There are a lot of Bunsen burners and kids in lab coats. Mm-hmm. Mary's one of these grad students in scrubs and Crocs, and she's looking in a microscope. And the two security guards kind of drop you off, and they want to walk off, and he's still getting punched in the arm, right? And Mary's like, is there a reason that my roommate has dropped you in front of me?
A little while ago, a girl came running into the food court, just dripping in blood. Do you know her?
She stands up immediately. It's like, wait, I thought they said that you saw her?
Yes, so did a couple other 100 students.
No, but... And she kind of like looks you over for a moment. You're not the one that...
It doesn't really...
Do you still have the silverware?
I don't think I take it out of my bag, but I do nod. What do you need it for?
They said that somebody was able to, like, grab her and grab the silverware before they got dragged off. Marcus tells me everything. He's in campus security. He's a pretty good dude. But they said that somebody was able to... Can I ask you a question?
I don't think you'll be able to eat with these. I don't think you'll want to.
Fair, but... And she kind of, like, grabs a piece of paper and starts sketching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Real, like... And she kind of, like, shows you a mark that matches the mark on the base of her skull exactly. You know, this sort of big leech bite. Was that? They said she was bleeding. Is that?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Okay. Okay. Take a look at this. And she kind of, like, gestures you over to the microscope, and I'm going to ask you for an investigate mystery.
Okay. Oh, cool. Double sixes, so 12, 13.
Okay, excellent. Ask me 2 questions. As you're looking in the microscope, you're seeing, it just looks like cells. But, like, as you kind of talk to this, as you talk to this grad student, you can kind of get the answers to a few questions.
What sort of creature is it?
The cells are acting real weird. You kind of see them splitting, but they're splitting real quickly. And you kind of, like, look at her for a moment, and she's like, and she kind of grabs another of these, the little glass things that I don't remember what they're called. She grabs a slide. That's what they are. She grabs a slide and she puts it under there. This is tissue from a human brain. Mm-hmm. And you look at it, and she's like, "This is a sample that they've been having us look at, and they look identical. This is clearly tissue from a human brain, except this one is, like, splitting and undergoing mitosis."
Huh.
Brain tissue doesn't do that. This thing... And she kind of, like, leans in and she says, "Now, why would our professors be so interested in having us look at this weird brain tissue? And she kind of, like, perks up, goes real quiet and looks around. Just as people are starting to go missing. That's why you're here, right?"
Those are dangerous questions to ask.
Well, I kind of think that we're in danger a little bit.
Not while I'm here. I promise it's not going to hurt you.
That's a cold comfort, but I'll take any comfort I can get.
What can hurt it? If that's at all possible to know.
You're watching... Okay, actually, I know exactly what it is. You're looking at this, and you're seeing these cells kind of split, and, like, you're watching it kind of start to grow, and it almost starts to, you know, you can, like, it's starting to really, like, fill the slide up, when the door bursts open, and you hear that same guy screaming, "Get her out of here! She is not on the, like, she has not got security clearance. She is not in the program. She is not part of Project Insight. You get her the hell out of here." And as he's screaming, you see it start to recoil a little bit.
I'm gonna hand Mary the bloody silverware and go,
"Okay,
use this how you can." And
can do.
Then I'm gonna let myself be escorted out of the building.
Okay. Roll me a manipulate someone. Actually, no, she wants to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
She pockets the silverware as you get escorted out of the building. Mm-hmm. And he is screaming about, like, he's screaming at Mary, and he's screaming at other people about, like, You're just going to let random people look at things that are important to Project Insight? What is wrong with you? This is
Don't blame this on her. I made her do it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with it. And she kind of like gives you like this briefest of smiles. And he is like, if I see you around Bradbury Hall again, I will make sure that you are arrested. That the full extent, the law will come down on you. You will never see the outside world again as long as I have any will in my brain.
Don't worry, sir. You won't see me.
And he stammers for a minute, and he's like,
and I'm gonna turn and walk away.
All right, yeah, you walk out. You're escorted out by Marcus and his friend, who is still kind of needling him a little bit in the way that kids carry on jokes for way too long.
Yeah.
And they take you out. You're outside the building. And what do you do?
I think I might go back in the tunnels and just go looking for danger.
All right, that sounds like a solid plan.
Or at least the torchbearers.
At least the torchbearers. Creep is down there, if nothing else. So you're back in the tunnels, and you're poking around the entrance to Bradbury Hall. You're studying. Give me an investigate mystery as you are studying to see what you can surmise from the markings from the torchbearers left behind, actually. They're obnoxiously by the books, but they are very thorough.
I got an 8.
Okay, ask me a question.
Where did it go?
You're looking and you kind of see the markers, and the thing that catches your eye is there's a piece of string pinned to it just looked like an indent in the rock when it was poorly lit, but when you put a flashlight to it, you definitely see one of these leech bites.
Oh, good.
But it's against a rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not and then you kind of start following the string.
Mm-hmm.
And you see more, you kind of see them almost as though it was crawling or pulling itself with these bites, with these jaws.
Okay, it doesn't have feet. It uses its mouth to move around.
It may a little. It looks like it, but it also looks like you see several sets of them. So it almost looks like it was pulling itself.
Oh,
with
good.
Multiple. It almost.
Does it have multiple sets of teeth? Or
it
mouths?
has multiple sets of. It looks like it has multiple mouths, and it looks like the movements of them are a little bit erratic. So you can kind of surmise that it's got mouths on tentacles, basically, and it's sort of pulling itself along that way.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm gonna pull out my pistol and keep going.
Cool.
Or my revolver.
Make me a read a bad situation. As you follow these markings.
Which one is that? Oh wait, there we go. It's a sharp. Okay.
Plus sharp. Roll me plus sharp.
3 is 9, so 10.
Okay, ask me 3 questions. As you're following this along, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see a bloody handprint.
Mm-hmm.
And, you see it kind of, chalked off a little bit. But, you keep following these marks, and you see that they definitely stopped. They haven't pressed this far down.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the thing has moved far down. And you have no idea what buildings you're around now.
Okay.
But you start to come to one of these large openings, right? Like a hub, almost.
Mm-hmm. Are there any dangers I haven't noticed?
You see this bloody handprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see it kind of run a little bit, like it smears, and then disappears. You look at that for a while, and then you kind of see, you pause, and you see another one that wasn't marked off. Now, the torchbearers would have definitely marked it off, which means it's fresh, and which means that the creature is on the move, and that it's got bodies with it.
Great. What's my best way out?
Your best way out is you're in this hub, or you're coming up on this hub, and you see that there is a set of stairs that lead up to a building. You're not sure which one.
Okay. Do you mind if I hold my third question?
Of course, absolutely.
All right.
You come into this large hub, and it's the smell that gets you. When is the last time that you smelled viscera?
Oh, that's a Monday, my dear.
Okay. Good. Yeah, then the smell of gore is familiar to you. And this is far more of a painful sense of familiarity, right? You're like, oh, there it is.
I mean, it still doesn't smell good. It's still disgusting, but it's a smell that I'm used to.
Right. And it's that sort of awful sense of like, yep, there it is. I knew, you knew that was coming. And you put your light around and you see bodies.
Ooh.
Several of them.
Good.
All wearing scrubs.
Oh, okay. Well, at least there's no one I know.
You get a good solid look at one of them. Scrubs, grad student, young. Mark in the back, and your flashlight kind of follows up the body. You see blood all stained on the back, all on the back of his scrubs. You see blood stained the whole back of his scrubs. You follow it up, and you see the mark punched right in the back of his skull, and the whole skull is caved in.
Ooh. I was about to ask if they were alive, but, I guess that answers my question.
Well, you would think they'd be thoroughly dead.
Oh, no.
But it makes them getting up real confusing.
Oh,
no. Several of them start to crawl to their feet. And they're not moving as though they're not moving like they're alive, but they're getting up. Which still seems weird. I'm not gonna shoot at them. I'm just gonna shoot. I want to get that nice reverberation going on with my revolver. That's good. That's very good. Gimme. Okay, then in that case, I'm gonna actually not call that kick ass. I'm gonna call that act under pressure.
Okay. Which one was that? That's just cool.
That's plus cool, yeah.
Okay. That's a 4 plus a 2 is a 6 plus 7. Or plus 1 is 7. So 7.
Okay. Yeah. You shoot into the air and it reverberates and it actually knocks you off balance, right? Because it's so loud. You've got the tinnitus kicked in. And I'm glad you went there because I was trying very hard not to. Yeah, you're you're dizzy and everything is kind of like flashy and glow. You've got you're seeing lights and what is the harm on your pistol?
Give me a sec. Let me see. My revolver is 2 harm. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. You deal 2 harm. You deal 2 harm. Yeah. Several of them fall over, right? Several of them just collapse in on themselves, right? They just kind of fall flat. It's almost as though. And now you get, with the flash of the pistol, a solid look at how the others are moving.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost marionettes.
Ooh.
Like, the way they move is like a body part kind of moves at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're kind of like, moving very puppet-esque. They're not moving so much as someone or something is moving their body parts as they kind of start to surround you.
Okay, then I kind of want to ask my third question, but I think I already know what it is, so, what's most vulnerable to me?
What is most vulnerable to you?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that is most vulnerable to you is probably, it's not them. And you see in the flickering light, you actually see a little tiny tubular black shape punch out a light, and you hear a skittering as like something, you hear a skittering and like a as it is clearly like thwicking along the walls, as it is clearly fleeing from you, as you have made a loud noise. This creature is here, and it is clearly afraid because you made a loud noise, and it hates loud noises. So you know its weakness. So the thing that is most vulnerable is this thing that you haven't gotten the best look at yet. Mm-hmm. But you know it's running, and you know it's scared. But it's also directing these zombie things at you, these puppets.
Mm-hmm. The students that dropped because of the revolver gunshot, they're absolutely dead, right?
They are dead.
Okay, cool. Then I don't care about casualties, so I'm gonna pull out my assault rifle and just shoot these guys.
Cool. Roll me kick ass.
Okay, cool. That is
plus hard?
No, it's plus tough.
What is that? Tough, that's what it is.
What do I have in tough? Okay. That is that's an 8.
Okay. On a success, you inflict harm, and they inflict harm on you, so take... Okay. Take 2 harm before damage. Or before your armor.
Okay, do I have armor? I don't think I have armor.
I don't think you do. So take 2 harm and deal your harm to the zombies.
Okay, and the assault rifle is 3 harm.
Okay. You mow down almost all of them.
Cool.
You mow down almost all of them. There are a few left standing. You can keep shooting, or you can try to like run past them and try to get to the thing.
No, I'm gonna try and run past them.
Okay, give me act under pressure.
Okay. It's a 3 plus 5 is 8 plus my cool, so a 9. Oh, okay. do I get a plus 1 because of because the info from a bad situation?
Yes, you do get a plus 1, so that is a 10. So yeah, you actually barrel past, and not only do you barrel past them, they almost grab you. Mm-hmm. And then there is the unmistakable to you sound of suppressed gunfire that like riddles them as Creep and a cleanup crew armed with silenced pistols are behind you. And he gives you a 2-fingered salute as they start like taping up and chalking out bodies as you are barreling down this hallway.
As I'm running, I'll yell behind me, "Nice of you guys to catch up."
And he doesn't even acknowledge you. He's just like, go do your thing.
I'm gonna go do my thing.
You chase and you run, and you take a left and another left, and another left, and it has led you in a giant circle.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, you are watching it. You are standing at the base of the stairs of Bradbury Hall, and it has burst, and that door is now just swinging, burst, thrown open, like, knocked to the point where it's like not quite closing right.
Great. Told him he wouldn't see me. Damn it! No, I'm gonna keep running up.
Okay, you burst through the door, and
I am gonna put my assault rifle and revolver away first.
Good. Probably a solid plan. You burst through the door. Security, the professor points at you and is like, I said get her out of here, and security is running at you. But you see him and several, he is also, shoving grad students. You see him grab Mary by the shoulders and shove her. Mm-hmm. And there's, 2 or 3 others that he's like, get into the chamber. We need to, it's hurt and we need to study it.
It's hurt and you need to kill it. I'm gonna, as non-lethally as possible, try and trip up those guards so they can't,
okay,
restrain me.
Give me act under pressure.
Okay. That's cool. That's a 7. Just barely a 7.
Great. You get past them, but you are not able to do it particularly cleanly. Marcus goes flat on his back. He sees you and is like, oh no, she got me right in the nose. And he rolls off. But his friend does not. His friend is actually, you recognize him as the same one that dragged you off earlier. And he's like, you don't even go here. And you kind of have to crack his nose a little bit.
I'm okay with that. I'm not upset about that.
Yeah. So you barrel past, you get to the room, and it is sealed shut. It is locked shut.
I am gonna use another move. I'm gonna pull out my artifact, which is a skeleton key, which opens any magic or sealed lock.
You take it out. It's an old fairy art. Well, actually, let me ask you, where did you get it?
I think I got it from the, on a mission. I, murdered a bunch of pixies and found it amongst their stuff, and then just happened to not turn it into the torchbearers during my mission report.
Fair. You hold it up to, it's actually, sealed shut. It's an automatic door. There's a keypad or there's a card reader and a keypad, and you kind of hold the key up to the keypad, and you watch it go flat and almost form the shape of a card, and you swipe it and the door seals open, and the professor goes pale white and starts backing up.
Listen, I know I told you wouldn't see me, but how about we just pretend you haven't, and I can do my job.
You don't understand what you're doing. Project Insight could change everything. This could be groundbreaking, and I can't. And he starts to reach for an empty beaker. And he's like, I can't let you disrupt my masterpiece, and he gives it a swing.
Can I will absolutely roll for this. Can I smack it out of the air with my baseball bat?
Yes, you can.
What would you have that be? Just kick ass?
I'd call that kick
awesome.
ass, yeah.
Ha! Double 6s. I got a 12.
You smash it in midair, his hand gets all cut up and he drops to his knees. He's like, oh! And
I'm gonna take a +1 for that.
Cool. Yeah, you are perfectly fine. You smash it. He goes down. But suddenly from the other side of the room, you see a second door that is also shut. And a hand slams on this little viewing window.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those. This is the first door was one of those big glass sliding doors where you could see everything on the other side. This is one of those big metal, big honkin' steel doors, same kind of keypad with just a single like porthole window, and a hand just slams on it from the inside.
Would you let me use my skeleton key again, or do I have to do something else?
No, I'll let you use the skeleton key.
Cool,
again.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, the door slides open. Mary scrambles out just as a tentacle like wraps itself around her ankle and starts pulling, and you can finally get a glimpse at the monster. It's a brain.
Oh, good.
It's a big, giant brain about the size of a Great Dane.
Oh, good.
And it's got 4 tentacles that also look like they're made of gray matter.
Mm-hmm.
And on each of them, on the end of each of them is basically a jumbo leech mouth.
Oh, good. Good and great.
That are just that are just squeezing and chomping. And it has grabbed Mary's ankle. And you see it throw a second tentacle. It's got 4 of them, right? It's got 4 of these big tentacles. You see it throw one at one of the other grad students' heads as he kind of like is up against a wall.
Okay, I'm gonna take out my big fuck off assault rifle and tell the brain to fuck off.
All right.
And that is kick ass, which is tough. So that's a 9.
Okay. Yeah, you deal your harm to it. You spray it.
And I'm gonna take that +1, so it's a 10.
That is a 10. So choose one extra effect.
Okay.
You can take +1 forward. You can inflict terrible harm, which is an additional harm. You can suffer less harm, or you can force them where you want.
I'm gonna inflict terrible harm, and since my assault rifle is a +3, it gets +4.
Okay. You spray it, and it goes, and like you shoot one of it. You shoot the tentacle off of Mary's ankle. Well, I'm gonna make you choose. Do you save Mary or Barry?
Mary.
Okay, yeah. You shoot the tentacle. You shoot the tentacle off of Mary, and you blow the tentacle clean off of it. But the other tentacle catches Barry in the back of the head, and you watch it happen. Right? You watch it latch on. You watch it like punch in and then suck out. And you see the head, like the whole skull kind of caves in like you're watching a Capri Sun get drank.
Okay.
And you see the 4th tentacle start to regrow.
I am gonna grab Mary and throw her out of the room.
Okay, yeah. She kind of tumbles out. And she's just like backing, and she starts to back away, and she's like looking around, being like, "What? How can I?"
And then I'm gonna shut the door.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You shut the door, and she's like slamming it and pressing buttons, and it's just not opening because the key doesn't just open doors that you want open; it shuts them as well.
And I'm.
So you're in here with 2 more grad students.
Good. I'm gonna keep aiming for the brain.
Okay.
That is that's a 6.
Okay. It is going to. Okay, take 2 more harm. And it is going to...
I have to mark an unstable.
Okay.
Which I have to figure out how to do that.
Yes, I should also look that up. Unstable.
Okay. I don't know what marking unstable does.
It just unstable injuries will worsen as time passes. Good. So what happens is, I know what happens. It grabs the rifle. Okay. So you're opening fire, right? You're spraying, but what happens is it actually punches the rifle. And, like, you spray wild bullet, and one of the bullets bounces off metal and catches you hard in the shoulder and just starts oozing blood.
Okay.
And that's going to get just worse and worse.
What else is in this room?
It is a steel-padded room. There are some cameras and viewing equipment. There's the single porthole window, and then there's a large viewing window on the other side that opens up to, like, another way more sinister looking laboratory.
Okay. It took my revolver or my assault rifle?
It took your assault rifle.
Damn. Okay. I was gonna try and break into the other more sinister looking laboratory, but I feel like I wouldn't be able to do that given my current equipment. Wait, no, I have a baseball bat. I'm gonna try and break the glass.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a act under pressure.
Okay, let's do this. That is a 9 plus my pool, which is a 10.
Great. Not only what's the harm on your baseball bat?
I believe it's hold on. It's just a 1.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't hurt it. Because it's feeding and you see it regrowing and it sort of shrugs but you see it recoil when you shatter the glass and you jump through and it kind of jumps after you, but you're in this lab surrounded by equipment.
Okay.
All sorts of freaky sci-fi movie equipment.
I am gonna just start singing "The Eye of the Tiger" at the top of my lungs, and then go look for something to set it on fire.
Okay, give me act under pressure. No, actually, give me act under pressure.
Okay, that is a 4 plus a 3, which is 7 plus. I think that's what is act under pressure. It's an 8 cool. Anyways.
Okay, cool. You're screaming "Eye of the Tiger." It is recoiling and thrashing and trying to grab you. You find you get to the controls of a large industrial laser. One of these big Bond lasers, for cutting things. But the problem is it's thrashing and it's screaming and it's recoiling and it actually jumps back into the room and entangles one of the grad students. So you can use it. You can roll to shoot it, but on a miss, you are going to fry this kid.
Good. Okay. What is that? Kick-ass?
Yeah, we'll call it kick-ass.
Come on, baby. Oh my god, that's an 11.
Perfect. Yeah. So you hit it and it powers up and it's this, it's a hum, right? It is an industrial machine and it hums and it lets go of Paul and he drops to the floor. And you open fire and you roast it. It just ignites. Good. And it's scrambling and it's clawing at the walls. And yeah, and you watch it flail, and just as it's about to die, you see the door open. And you hear the all too familiar sound of suppressed gunfire.
No.
As finally arriving on the scene are the torchbearers, taking your cue and just gunning this thing down. And behind them, you see Mary just watching this with stars in her eyes.
I don't think I say anything to them. I think I just walk out.
Do you say anything to Mary? She's starry-eyed watching them, watching the torchbearers.
I think I just place a hand on her shoulder and go, "Don't quit your day job. Stay in school. You're smart enough for this. Not for them." Oh wait, no, that sounded like an insult. Hold on, let me try that again. I think I place a hand on her shoulder and go, "Stay in school. You're too good for them."
And she kind of looks at you for a moment and she goes, "Were you too good for them too?"
No.
Okay. And she kind of smiles and starts to, like, back out. And kind of follows you out a little bit, but, like, turns left when you turn right. Mm-hmm. And you get the briefest of glances over your shoulder as she kind of walks out. Like, looking around. She's looking around as, like, campus security is, like, starting to flood the building. And she's kind of just looking around. She looks back at the torchbearers for a long time, and she looks kind of at the thing for one last time. And she walks off, and you walk off, and you've watched Twitter, and you watch social media for the next few days, and there's no report of a brain monster eating grad students. There's a report of a lab accident, you know, a laser misfired, and unfortunately, there were some casualties, but it's pretty quiet. But you know better. Mm-hmm. I mean, you always know better.
Always.
And that's game.
That was so fun. Oh my god.
That was great. I loved it. Oh my goodness. That ruled.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. This was great. This has been great. This was a really, really fun game. So, before I wrap up, where can people find your work
online? You can find me on Twitter at King Coal Miner. You can also find my podcast Blue Dawn at Blue Dawn Cast on Twitter, as well as oh shoot, we're not on SoundCloud anymore. Never mind. Cut this out. You can just find me on Twitter at King Coal Miner.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was an absolute delight. And I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me.
Thanks, Past Me. And thanks again to Cole for coming onto the show. That game was fucking rad. Be sure to check the show notes for links to all the projects that Cole is working on. Blue Dawn, Unplaced, everything. They have an amazing ear for storytelling, and I think it's a quality that shines through on all of the work that they're doing, and I think it is well worth your time. Well worth your time. Also, be sure to follow them on Twitter at King Coal Miner. Then while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod, then like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. If you really enjoyed the show, consider giving us a nice iTunes review, a social media shout-out, or a word-of-mouth recommendation. Any one of those things helps the show reach new listeners, which helps us do bigger, better, and cooler things. You can also consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/partyofonepodcast. Patreon backers get access to bonus materials, podcasts, and interviews, and Patreon dollars help pay for hosting fees, equipment costs, and convention appearances. If you'd like to hear more from me, consider checking out All My Fantasy Children, the storytelling, fantasy world-building, and character creation podcast powered by your listener prompts, co-hosted by myself and my best friend Aaron Catano Saez. You can find that at allmyfantasychildren.com. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates coming onto the show, or you just watched Wrestle Kingdom and you want to talk to me about Wrestle Kingdom, because I really want to talk to people about Wrestle Kingdom, you can reach me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. Well, that's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody. Never gonna die.